Hey, everybody, welcome to another edition of NasCard Radio. That's episode 242 of NasCard Radio. I'm your pal Val. With me is the man, the myth, the legend, PSA, and White Castle Hall of Famer, Logan. How are you tonight?
I'm feeling kind of directorish tonight for some weird reason. I don't know why.
Okay. All right. Got a great show for everybody today. We're going to do race and recap. We have a special guest from a Panini. We're going to talk about Panini Instant. They dropped a few cards, and we'll recap those. Upper Deck ePacks dropping pack one, and we'll get into all that stuff, how that's going to work, and check Parkside Pronto, what's going on with them, and then we'll finish the show with King's Court.
We've got a really big shoe tonight.
I'm telling you.
This could rival one of Ken's shows.
So, again, this is NASCAR Radio. We're trading cards on racing meat. And we want to thank our sponsor, Panini America, and do some shout outs to Chase Blaylock, Kyle Adams, Robbie's Hobbies, Kyle Katz, Misha Wines, State 48 Sports Cards, Beans Ball Card Blog, and Jason Freeman for their YouTube and Rumble comments. We read them, so please leave them. Okay.
Indeed.
Yep. Had some good comments going on last week's show. So, all right, let's go to racing recap. Had a few races running last week over in the Craftsman Truck Series. Race number 14. That was the Militech Battery 200 Friday, June 20th at Pocono Raceway. Layne Riggs was our winner, and highest finish rookie was Connor Mosack at position 6.
Yeah, I was glad to see Layne Riggs win.
Oh, yeah, definitely. He's come a long way. So from last year's Rookie of the Year, we talked about
Mhm.
his cards before. Some of his first cards in 2025. Actually, he's in that snapshot is where he's on his dad's shoulders. But then in 2024, he got a Dunruss rated rookie card number 97 with the different parallels. He's in Optic as well, Optic signatures. He's in Select card 27, 127, and 227 with the different parallels. He's in Prism. He's in 2024 National Treasures, card number 14. And he also is in the 2024 Panini Instant, card number 18 for that Rookie of the Year.
Yeah, and he's got the obligatory hands on the hip.
You love those.
Yeah, I do.
And then Connor Mosack, I have finishing rookie. He's also in 2024 Dunruss, card number 98 with his rated rookie card. He's in the Panini Prism, Select, National Treasures as well.
Yeah, we don't normally have Connor Mosack on here, so this is kind of refreshing.
Yeah. And let me pull that off the screen there. And next race number 15, is going to be the Luna 150 at Lime Rock Park. That's in Lakeville, Connecticut. Saturday, June 28th, 1 p.m. Eastern.
That's going to be a good race.
Yeah, I think we got a doubleheader on Saturday.
Sweet.
Yeah, but over in the Xfinity Series, that was race number 16, and that was the Explore the Pocono Mountains 250, Saturday, June 21st at Pocono Raceway. Connor Zilisch was our winner. Highest finishing rookie was Connor Zilisch, position 1.
Makes it easy.
It makes my job easy. So we've talked about Connor Zilisch. He's kind of tearing it up. Going to be rookie of the year, I'm sure. And his first cards are in 2024 Panini Instant, card number 4. Had a print run of only 230 with the different parallels with the Jungle, Jaguar, White Tiger, Blue Viper, and also autos out of 10 and 101.
Yeah, just remember what we say here on the show. To build a great race team, it takes a Zilisch.
That's right. And their next race number 17, is the Focused Health 250 Echo Park Speedway, aka Atlanta, Friday, June 27th at 7:30 p.m. So Friday night race, Xfinity.
Ooh, exciting.
Yeah, and then over in the Cup Series, that was race number 17, the Great American Getaway 400 presented by visitpa.com, and that was Sunday, June 22nd at Pocono Raceway. Chase Briscoe was our winner. Highest finished rookie was Shane Van Gisbergen at position 31. So, um, not a lot of folks going for rookie of the year over in Cup. So, but yeah, and Chase Briscoe won. His car has been a while. 2018 Panini certified card number 23. The different parallels and also fresh faces signatures. He's in 2018 Panini Prism, but only scripted signatures there. He's in 2018 Panini Victory Lane, but signatures there as well only. In 2018 Panini Prime with the different jumbo associate sponsors, the material, race used, all that good stuff for 2018 Panini Prime.
Yeah, and his signature is not too bad. It's definitely not a Ty freaking Gibbs scribble.
It is not. He has a pretty good signature there. So, and then SVG, who we've talked about quite a bit. He has his first card was actually in 2013 at V8 Supercars, super rare, and he got cards in 2024 Dunruss with his rated rookie. Also, he's in the Optic signatures. He's in the 2024 select card number 29, 129, and 229 with different parallels. Panini Prism as well. Card number 87. Don't forget that there's two. There's a driver card and a car card. And 2024 Panini National Treasures card number 26. And Treasured Moments as well in National Treasures.
I'm glad to see that he was in National Treasures now.
Yeah. Starting to get some of the backlog here that I got. I know I need to work on a few more slides and stuff. So, but the day job gets in the way. So,
Dang it.
yes. All right. Next
Having
race,
a
race
real
number.
job sucks.
Yeah. Next race number 18. That's the Quaker State 400 at Echo Park Speedway, aka Atlanta. And that is Saturday, June 28th at 7 p.m. So we got Friday night and 2 Saturdays races.
Sweet.
Yeah. And then moving over to the IndyCar series. That was the XPEL Grand Prix at Road America, and that was Sunday, June 22nd. Alex Palou was back on the board there with a winner.
Huh? What?
Yeah, so that's 6 wins out of 9 races. So he's pretty
Gosh.
much crushing it over there. As we were talking about before, I'm wondering if he could break like Max Verstappen's win percentage of the season. So we'll see.
Who knows?
We'll find out. And then his first cards in 2023, the Chip Ganassi Racing, they produced that set for donation for American Legion, and he has the base card, the 04, which can be found with and without the number. The without the number was the kind of the AKA hero card handout at the tracks, and then he has some foils. There is an autograph card out of 100. It's not individually numbered out of 100, but that was card number 33. So for
Wow.
him,
So I've got 2 words for you. Hashtag sprockets.
I knew you were going to say that. You love, you love that. All right, next race number 10 of 17. So they are more than halfway done. Sunday, July 6th at Mid Ohio Sports Car Course in Lexington, Ohio. That's going to be the Grand Prix of Mid Ohio at 2 p.m. Eastern.
If you drive from here in Memphis to Cleveland, you actually go through where Mid Ohio is. So, because it's
Yep.
actually in Middle Ohio. It's kind of weird how that works, right?
Appropriately named.
Yeah.
Gotcha. You going to go?
No.
Okay. All right. That's it for Racing Recap.
All right. So I guess now it's time to bring on our special guest.
Dun, dun, dun.
Dun, 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 dun. Our special guest tonight is, there we go, Lucas Kinzer, he's director of product development for Panini. He's over baseball, WNBA, live, racing, and PFL. Welcome to the show, brother.
No problem. Happy to be here.
All right.
Yeah, thanks for joining us. That's a lot of stuff to be responsible for.
Yeah, it's I like to call it the kitchen sink team because we do everything but the kitchen sink. Pretty much if it's not NBA, NFL, soccer, entertainment, it kind of falls under my group's purview. So, but I kind of like it that way. It's honestly more fun to me. I've used to work on NBA, used to work on NFL. When you just have that one license, that one hyper focused thing, it can kind of get a little monotonous after a while. So I kind of get to keep all my knives sharpened and kind of keep an eye out on multiple different landscapes in the collecting world.
Okay. So I guess pickleball license is coming soon, right?
I think Leaf has that one, but it's one of those up and comers too. It's one of those cool things. It's crazy. Like the fastest growing sport in America, they said. So I mean, who knows what that'll hold someday.
I was just thinking like cornhole, but I think that's taken. I mean, uh, I saw like Parkside was doing some kind of it looked like some kind of Olympic type running competition stuff. So I mean, it's just
All that's left is real American freestyle wrestling.
There you go.
wow. Well, that's great. We really appreciate you coming on and getting to talk to you here and talk about collecting and NASCAR and stuff like that. So, so curious, like, do you collect trading cards by any chance? And if so, what sports or?
Yeah, so I started collecting back in 1996, 8 years old. Long story short, grew up, was one of those kids born with a myriad of medical issues. Spent a good chunk of my childhood in and out of doctor's offices, things like that. So couldn't play sports. I wasn't medically cleared to really do anything physical growing up. So the closest thing I could do was be on a bowling team and collect trading cards. So loved baseball, collected baseball to start. That was always my first love. Kind of got out of collecting around 2000 or so. Got into Pokemon cards, then I gave all those away, which I should not have done.
Mm.
Got back into collecting really 2006, 2007 or so, and yeah, I found out there was a hobby shop not too far from me, and started going there. Nick Sports Cards in Dallas. Nick Redwine, super nice dude. He sold the shop since then, but he would tolerate this 17, 18-year-old kid coming and just kind of standing around for 2, 3, 4 hours on a weekend, just kind of chatting it up with random people. uh, and then from there, 2009, I got my dream job, got my foot in the door in editorial at Panini right after they had been bought by or sold to Don, or right after Donruss had been sold to Panini, and I've been there ever since. 16 years now.
Wow.
Wow.
But yes, I definitely have quite the collection. People have a card closet or like a card corner. I have a card room. I wish I was actually in there right now to kind of show just the wall fort of 5,000 count boxes I got in there, but I'm not the kind of person to throw away commons. You never know. People are throwing away 2011 Topps Update Mike Trout rookie cards left and right. I'm sure I don't want to be that person. So maybe someday I'll downsize, but I got a room for it now at least.
Yeah,
Uh,
you sound like me. I don't throw away any cards whatsoever. I don't even throw away my Panini code cards. Okay.
There we
I don't
go.
throw away any.
But you
I
have
think
so much room behind you right now, though. There's so much room for more stuff.
that's
Yeah.
only a corner of the house, though. That's why you got the rest, the different aisles. I was gonna say I'm kind of the same way, and well, collecting NASCAR, you never know. Living close to Charlotte, uh, where the drivers are gonna be, whatever. So in-person autographs or through the mail stuff, you never know. Folks getting into the
Sure.
Hall of Fame or whatever. So it's like, to your point, like the Trouts or whatever. It's like, oh wait, I got some of those, or he's gonna be
Mhm.
there or whatever. So yeah, you never know what you.
Yeah, and in the NASCAR world, it seems like the drivers are a lot more receptive to like in-person autographs and through the mail autographs and stuff like that. So you got a lot more opportunities than like in the NFL or NBA.
Yeah. I would say most of them. Now, some of them have pouty faces, and we'll just leave it there.
Yeah, some are definitely better than others, and I think part of that is I guess I don't know, maybe Richard Petty or whoever started it, but they never really charge for in-person autos. Now
Mhm.
they have experiences and stuff like that, that different drivers do. I guess for some of that, but most of them and through the mail stuff. So
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, it's one of those things. Like I know some players will be like, "Hey, donate $5 to my charity, you get an autograph, things like that."
Yeah.
not too many folks for the most part are doing the, just return the card after it's gone through the paper shredder kind of thing.
Oh, I never heard of that one, but that would be interesting.
I've heard of at least one retired baseball player doing that, but I'll leave him nameless.
Oh, I'll have to pay attention. So, well, it's different than I was thinking. Like, they had some events, I guess, last weekend, and the autograph prices were astronomical. So,
For
but
sure.
All right, so I've got a question for you. It's kind of a meaty question here, so I figure I'd start off with this one. Yeah, get ready. All right, so collectors are having fatigue with products not being released within the calendar year. I'm one of them. Additionally, I feel that this gives trading card companies a license to go back in time and produce products with hot rookies from the previous year when they are no longer rookies. What are Panini's plans to get caught up across the board? Because COVID has been over for several years now, and in my opinion, it's time to maybe cut bait.
No, it's a good question. I mean, it's one of those things. I'll tell you, there's never been a scenario where we have intentionally moved a program out of the year to kind of like keep rookie status for somebody further down the road. If, for example, a 2024 program releases in 2025, it still's got that 2024 date. It was planned to be in 2024, and because the checklist is already finalized, approved by NASCAR, approved by the teams, that's why it still goes into the 2025. But we're not going to all of a sudden you're going to have, Ty Gibbs rookies popping up in 2026 programs or something like that. Somebody who's, well past their time or whatnot. As for the production stuff, I mean, that's just quite frankly capacity. Every card company is kind of dealing with that right now, where the number of printers that can do good quality trading cards, in particular Optichrome good quality trading cards, it's lesser and lesser because, I mean, there's just not enough lines, not enough time. It's, I wouldn't call it overproduction. It's just the production process for things like Optichrome takes so much longer than everything else. And there's multiple companies in the game now that are making, good, healthy products with the technology. It just kind of slows it down. And I mean, we kind of looked at the calendar this year, like, okay, what do we do to kind of help with that? We could take the optics out of Donruss, but then if you do that, you basically are killing the Donruss brand. We don't want to do that. We could do fewer Optichrome programs in general. We could look at that in the future, but it's like Select does well, Prism does well. You don't want to necessarily take away those like flagship brands for your company, because really our strongest thing is our brands. And so it's like, damned if you do, damned if you don't kind of stuff, where we want to try to give the collectors stuff in a timely manner, and we do try to. We definitely try to. But just things just keep sliding. It's kind of outside of our control most of the time because, quite frankly, we don't own our own printers. We use third-party printers, and they have different priorities sometimes, and they have different capacities sometimes. But I will say that I've taken a more direct approach with the approval process with our approval team in-house. Even just recently for Select, there were a couple of drivers that were kind of dragging a couple of forms out, so they weren't going to print just yet. And I kind of stepped in, talked with NASCAR, we were able to get it all rectified. But it's just, sometimes it takes a little extra effort like that, and no excuses for why things have been moving. It sucks. As a collector, I hate it too. But we're definitely doing what we can to try to make that as minimal as possible. I mean, that's one of my priorities for this year, is try to keep, in particular, NASCAR, because I feel like that's the one that's really gotten the can kicked down the road the most the last couple of years is NASCAR. So if we want to try to build this NASCAR license to be as big as I feel like it can be, we got to keep things on time.
Agree. I totally agree, because here we are, we're towards the end of June, and we've got Donruss coming out, our first product of the year. It's like, golly.
Yeah, I know it definitely sucks, but at the same time, we do have a lot of good stuff planned for the year, and we are going to do everything we can to keep everything in 2025.
I'd love to see that. I hope you can get caught up. That would be awesome.
Yep, same here for sure.
And speaking of building a brand, so Dale Earnhardt Sr. is considered to many to be the greatest NASCAR driver of all time. And as you know, he's sorely missing in the Panini Racing products. And press pass autographs and memorabilia cards of Dale Sr. are commanding record prices. And where are you with negotiating a deal to bring him to Panini? I feel this is catalyst to send the Panini Racing products into the stratosphere and bring it to another next level.
Oh, I completely agree. It's something that we definitely want to do. It's just one of those things where it's just like, for example, I'd love to have Michael Jordan in our basketball products. It'd be a great addition to our basketball products, especially moving forward. But it's one of those things where you just got to come to terms. And sometimes There's just complicating factors, as I'm sure you know, with the Earnhardt estate. There are some complicating factors involved with getting anything done. We are trying. We try every year. We have our conversations with the lawyer that represents the estate. We go back and forth a bit. We kind of come to some good conclusions, come to some, almost theirs, and then it kind of tends to fizzle out, generally speaking. But we do make the general effort every year to do so, and we're going to continue to do so. It's just a lot of, they're not big things. It's just things that are just kind of, hampering the deal per se. But we will continue to try for sure. That's one thing. I mean, we actually do have men in house. We have race use gloves. We have a full fire suit. We have cuts. We're ready to go once we're able to get it done. It's just, part of the process is getting the deal, and until we have the ink to paper, we can't start making the cards. And if we can't start making the cards, then, it's kind of keeps moving and moving and moving.
Well, it's at least encouraging that now you guys are really talking about maybe the small stuff instead of, the big stuff, and maybe with the Earnhardt, what do you want to call it, docu-series, that maybe you have some movement. I did read the other day that it looked like Earnhardt Jr. and Teresa and them have somewhat maybe mended some fences, so we'll see.
That would be huge, because that was one thing that, I mean, just being honest, how amazing would a Dale Sr., Dale Jr. Cut with a live auto 101 in NT next year? How amazing would that be?
It would be huge. I mean, people would be going nuts, and me included.
For sure. I know, and I've always been a big fan, just a little off topic, of the Living Dead cut booklet, where you have two people that are really linked together, but one's deceased. It can really make a beautiful card. But and just in general, Dale Jr. Prism card, a Prism Gold vinyl of Dale Sr., Dale Sr. Prism Gold vinyl, Dale Sr., NT Jumbo Patch 1 of 1. Those things are going to be insane. I mean, we definitely want to make those happen. It's just part of the negotiation process, trying to get a deal hammered out. And then once that deal's hammered out, making sure that we have enough good imagery, approvals, things like that, to get it all kind of going and make sure it's as good as the NASCAR fans deserve it to be.
Yeah, that Dale Sr. Prism Rainbow is going to be incredible.
Insane.
Yeah.
People have the licenses to make Funko Pops and diecast and other things. So I'm hoping that trading cards are not too far in the distant future.
I think it will happen. I just don't know when. It's just, like I said, I don't want to go into too many details with it, but there's just a few complicating factors involved that we just got to kind of hammer out.
Yeah, okay. It's usually money, so I'm sure that's probably a big part of it.
Complicating factors, but yeah. I like I said, I'm optimistic that eventually it will get done, and when it gets done, I'll be blasting that everywhere. Come get your Dale Senior cards. First time since mid 2000s.
So we had talked to Tim previously before he left, and that he was talking about he was trying to step up and throw that Babe Ruth image money around, for Teresa or whatever, but that she didn't take that. So
yeah, no, it's like I said, we're hoping for the best, and we're going to keep pushing for it.
Yeah, well, the day that you get it is going to be, it's going to be amazing. I know a lot of collectors out there that will just be going absolutely insane trying to collect those cards.
Our marketing team might not like it, but maybe I'll try to get us to announce it on this podcast one of these days. Break the news.
That would be awesome.
I don't think they'd let me do that, but that's okay. Like I said, right. I do think, though, just to give collectors hope, I do think it will happen. It's just a matter of when.
Okay, great. We're glad to hear that anyway. That's good.
Yeah, I was glad to hear at least that the minor stuff, right? It's not the big stuff. So now it's just hammering out the minor details. So,
All right. So here's the next question I've got for you. We often see NASCAR products stuffed with autographs from many drivers who are no longer racing or not in any of NASCAR's top 3 major touring series. For example, Vinnie Miller. I rag on Vinnie Miller a lot. I have nothing against Vinnie Miller, but I don't want his autographs. But can we please at least get drivers that race in trucks, Xfinity, and Cup in these products, and not people who no longer are even probably driving?
Yeah. So with that, that's another one that's kind of tough sometimes because, let's say, for example, Vinnie Miller. I don't remember the exact specs. Let's say we get a 24-month deal for, let's say, 1,000 autographs at a couple of bucks a pop or something like that. And then all of a sudden, poof, they're no longer in a series. They're basically, not to insult Vinnie Miller, but basically they're out of the racing game. They're not collectible anymore. No one really wants them. Well, we've still got 700, 750 autographs sitting in inventory, and we're like, well, heck, we have rights to them. We have a program that's got 3 autographs. We get a little bit lower total cost per autograph, kind of need to balance that budget out. And so we still plan those guys in, but we try not to put them in for, a massive amount in hobby, for example. We try to, at least I do, try to balance it out where maybe that's the guy who you get more of his autographs in the blaster SKU as opposed to in the hobby SKU, because, no one likes to pull, quote unquote, give common autographs. I never like to say bad autographs because somebody, it's not a bad autograph. Maybe it's parents or something, but no one ever likes to pull common autographs out of a hobby box, especially when they're paying 100, 200 bucks for it. So, it's all about checklisting. It's all about making sure that the guys who are more desirable have a bigger presence in hobby. The guys who are less desirable, because of the lower price point, a little more of a presence in the retail. But at the same time, you got to have that good balance. You got to still be able to pull a Jimmy Johnson or a Dale Jr. autograph out of a blaster, and it can't just be 3 in the entire run. So it's all about kind of finding that balance where you can make the budget work, you can use all of your assets, and you can make the collectors happy. Because I've always said the number one goal whenever we release a product, I want Panini to make money, I want NASCAR to make money, I want the drivers to make money, I want the collectors to make money, I want the shops to make money, I want the breakers to make money. If everybody makes money, everybody's happy. And if everybody's happy with their cards that they get to in the end, then everyone's really happy. So as long as we kind of keep that whole chain happy, and especially have those end collectors happy with what they get, everybody wins. It's just a really delicate balancing act, especially when you have these longer term deals that sometimes people kind of drop out or somebody else pops up and you got to go get a deal with them. It's all about managing assets, unfortunately, but we do try to keep our checklist fresh and try to make sure that it's not too many guys who are more common like that.
Okay, fair enough.
Well, with kind of on that level there, I don't know if there's anything you can do, but you know we're really seeing new NASCAR rewards to spend the points on, because points are in lieu of hits, and it just seems like Panini just throw in points everywhere on donors and select and stuff, and there's really I want to say kind of low level cards there in the rewards. I think I heard from Misha, maybe that's not you guys division, or what you guys can do to help spruce some of that up.
So the way the points kind of work on that is, generally speaking, can't do it guaranteed every time, but generally speaking, don't like dropping points in hobby, because the last thing somebody wants if they're supposed to get 2 or 3 hits in a box is one of your hits is a 150 point card that you can sell for $3, or you can redeem for a common autograph where you got to pay your own shipping to get the card. As a collector, I don't like that. I know nobody really likes that. So generally speaking, the points are going to be falling in retail when, let's say, a deal falls through, a card's printed, we don't have the assets to get signed for the card, and we don't want to, cut cases per se. So it's kind of like, in lieu of that, we try to drop that. Or if it's like a really common autograph for somebody who, generally speaking, a 150 point card might actually be worth more to the collector than their autograph. If someone like a Vinnie Miller, if they weren't signing their stuff, that'd be an example of that. We might use those points to replace that. But generally speaking, I try to keep the points to a minimum, because I know as a collector, it's just like that wah 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 feeling when you pull one. Unless it's 1,500 or 2,000 or something like that. Which even then, it's still it's points. It's not a redemption. I don't have the card in my hand, the card number, the driver. I can go look it up and see what it's numbered to and all that stuff. It's just kind of like, and I do agree. I don't think we have enough good stuff on our point site. We have the white sparkle packs, which are nice and things like that, but if it's not, we don't really have a lot of NASCAR stuff on there in particular. I mean, the white sparkle for NASCAR goes into NT, doesn't go on the point side. So trying to keep the points to a minimum is always a goal. It can't always be done, but we definitely try to make sure that we don't put too many points in there. And hopefully over time, we will get more stuff on the point side. I will say that there is some truth that we don't put stuff on the point side. Product development doesn't. But in theory, any card that had a point assigned to it, if it becomes live in the future, we get the autographs and we allocate those towards that card as part of our redemption reservation process, then that card will go on the point side. So if there, for example, Jimmy Johnson card, number to 25, that was going to go into a product that ended up being points, in theory, if we allocate those stickers towards that once they come in live after the program releases, that card will go on the point side. But generally speaking, there's going to be more Vinnie Millers than Jimmy Johnsons that get points, because the points are normally used for lower tier autographs that don't come in time. So we try not to put too many of those in there, especially not put them in hobby. But in a perfect world, we we wouldn't have to worry about that at all. Everybody would sign their cards and we'd all be good. But we definitely do try to keep those minimum.
Yeah, I think I'm sitting on points. I know Logan's sitting on points. Don't really collect any other sports. So to your point about the white sparkles, we don't get that in NASCAR, and it just seems like there's either nothing good hitting it or whatever. So I don't necessarily mind paying for the shipping if something. But I think I'm in that 350 or 450 range. So I'm in that spot where I got enough Ty Dillons. I seem like I always open product and I always get Ty Dillon. So, and it seems like Ty Dillon was out on the rewards.
And then I don't know what the logistics are. I'm guessing the reason we don't do this is because our systems don't allow it to happen for whatever reason, because computers and stuff. I don't pretend to know how they all work. I just know I turn it on and it works most of the time. But I would love to see a system where people could actually be like, "Hey, I have 600 points. I'd like to withdraw them into like a points card that goes to the collector, and they can turn around and sell them on the secondary market, clear their points out of their inventory, and get something in return for it." Again, I don't know if we even have the capacity to do that, but I think that would be a better resolution than having people with hundreds or even thousands or tens of thousands of points sitting in their account that they can't really do much with.
Yeah, the capacity's there. Val and I are both IT guys. That can be done. It's just a matter of how much money you guys want to spend to have it done.
Yeah, so. For sure. Yeah. Hopefully, when the points was initially announced back, I think in 2014, a lot of people were really excited for it, and I'm like, this could be a really, really good thing if we manage it well, make sure there's good stuff on there, keep up to date with it. I personally don't think we've done as good of a job as we could on that, and I'm hoping that in the future we can do better with it.
Yeah, we used to get like emails and notifications that, hey, there's going to be some new NASCAR cards dropping tomorrow or whatever day. We don't get that anymore, so we don't know when anything drops. So there may be something that drops on there that we never know about, and it's gone before we even find out about it.
Yeah, let me make a note on that. NASCAR just in general notification emails. I'm gonna hit up Alex, who works on the points side, and see what's up with that, and see if we can start those back up. No guarantees, obviously, but I can at least poke the bear and see what we can do.
All right, I like that. So because I'm poking Val right now.
Thank you.
And I'm typing on my phone while talking. I got a note in there, so.
Hey, no problem.
All right. So next question. 2025 Donruss is going to be a 100-card set once it's released this year, right? So we're getting fewer cards per hobby box, plus some memorabilia cards that are not going to be race-used memorabilia. As a collector, and this is exactly how I feel, I do not want less cards, and I do not want non-race used memorabilia cards. Can you explain the reasoning behind these decisions? In my opinion, I don't think this helps grow the NASCAR trading card market very much when you're cutting back on cards.
So I'd have to double check. I don't have my work computer open to double check. I think it might be 100 base. In the past, I think last year was 100 base like drivers and 100 base cars, right? So that was last year, I believe. I have to double check, but I think it might be more than 100 card set. I'd have to double check. It might be 100 though. I know that one's been kind of out of the hopper for a little bit, so I have to refresh my memory on it. But I do know that when it comes to the memorabilia, all the non-race used memorabilia that was referenced, first off, none of it's going in hobby. The current plan is for that just to basically be something that could be utilized into like a one auto or mem guaranteed retail hit. And most of it is not going to be standard. So at the very least, you have some multicolored chances, you have some pieces of patches and things like that. It's not the most preferable thing on the planet, but quite frankly, it's not nearly as easy as it used to be able to get race used gear from the teams. We continue to try and do it, but we want to try to allocate more of that gear to the higher end stuff, or like even the selects and things like that. But at the same time, with our retail partners, sometimes, quite frankly, with NASCAR, they don't necessarily want to make bigger purchases for retail quantity unless there's a guarantee. And it's really hard to put an auto per blaster and have the autos not be, all common autographs for the most part, just because the numbers just don't really work out. So right. I'll take the personal on that one. I mean, it was quite frankly my idea to kind of incorporate that into Donruss this year and kind of see how it goes. It's honestly more of a test. If the collectors look at it, they spit on the cards, they throw them in the trash, they all sell for 99 cents, even if they're good patches. All right, then that's a very clear indication that that's not the direction we need to be going. Maybe we take the hit guarantee out of the blaster or make it like every other blaster or something like that if we can't get the assets. maybe the assets are going to open up in the future more. I will tell you that the way that the sheet metal is done now, we can't get nearly as much quantity of sheet metal as we used to, which is something we always used for a lot of our good hit quantities. We could get, 1,000 7/8 by 7/8 swatches from one car easily, not even getting the whole car, just getting like a big chunk of side panel or something like that. But so I mean, there's some limitations there. Obviously, fire suits, when they're covered with patches, are a lot less standard on there. We want to try to save the patch parts for the higher end programs. Kind of becomes tricky for the MEM team to kind of cut around it to try to deliver that more for retail. But like I said, it's kind of a test thing. We'll see how it does. If collectors hate it, we won't do it again. If they don't really mind, or even they like some of the cards, maybe we'll use a little more of it. But I don't plan on doing it in hobby, and I certainly do not plan on doing it in like NT or anything like that going forward.
Okay, that's good to hear.
And then just to recap, so the Dunros is last year was a 200 card set, and we had the retros, or so I think they were like 1991 was the retro look, and so you had like 100 regular, and then the retros, the rated rookies, and then I think some kind of maybe season highlights as well. So
I do remember that. I think it might be a 100 card set this year. I'd have to double check. I know that there was got some feedback from fatigue of people being in like 3, 4, 5 different subsets and kind of that kind of deal where it's like, it's, hey, how many cards of this guy do I need kind of stuff. But like I said, again, that's another thing too. If collectors don't like the 100 card set, if it is a 100 card set and they prefer a bigger set, we'll go back to it. None of these things are ever set in stone. Like, if you were to look at the way we planned products 5 years ago, pre-COVID, compared to the way we plan them now, they're different because the collectors have changed oftentimes. The collecting habits have changed. So we have to kind of evolve with those because it's an evolve or die kind of scenario sometimes where if you're not giving the collectors what they want and you stick to what you've been doing year over year over year, 20 years down the road, eventually you're going to look around and it's just like, well, no one's buying our product, even though we're doing our 8th different retro version of the same year's release with the same checklist and the same drivers. What's going on? Well, maybe it's because we're not evolving enough. We're not changing things up enough. So I like to try things out, see how they go. And if they completely fall on their face, we modify and we adjust moving forward. And if they don't, maybe we keep them. It's all about giving the collectors what they want and making sure that the products are as good as they can be.
Well, you'll never get anywhere if you don't try. So, I applaud you for trying new things. I'm good with that.
Thanks. Appreciate that. No.
Definitely, we always want to see, NASCAR trading cards, that market grow. And I don't know if you can speak to this or not, but, if you can maybe talk about the Panini or your plan to grow the NASCAR trading card market. I know we have the releases. I think we're getting an extra release this year, and I think I had mentioned it previously, maybe to Misha. I don't know if I had gotten back to you about, possibly doing sticker books or whatever, if they're doing international races or whatever. I didn't know if you guys had a 5-year, 10-year plan to try to grow NASCAR trading cards, and if you were going after the NASCAR somebody who watches NASCAR, or if you're trying to go after maybe a card collector and try to get them to come over.
So this is actually one thing I got a really, really strong opinion on. If you go to a track, how many people are at the average Cup Series race? It's a boatload. I don't remember the exact number. Texas Motor Speedway seats, well over 100,000 people. If 0.1% of those people spend $100 a year on cards, that's probably high for what is actually going into the track because the card market for NASCAR is just not nearly as big as the NASCAR collector market. And so I want to make as many NASCAR fans aware that we actually exist because quite frankly, going to Phoenix, I believe it was the last year or the year before, I had so many people asking me, what's Panini on the track? And I'm just like, we make the NASCAR trading cards. Oh, they make those? I haven't even thought about trading cards for years. I'm like, we've been doing this for like 9 years now at this point. Like, I would hope that people would have known we got tracks, a little bit of some trackside presence here and there. We're doing breaks on the tracks, things like that. A lot of people just don't know. There's not enough awareness that NASCAR trading cards exist, that they're pretty good, and that we make them. And so, whether it's working with NASCAR to try to raise awareness, whether it's working with our marketing department to kind of put more focus on the NASCAR related stuff, whether it's working with the drivers to have them promote the products more. I mean, we send drivers boxes every once in a while and things like that. We could do more of it probably. I don't see a ton of social media stuff going out there. I'd like to see more. And I know that we can definitely try to increase that and increase the awareness. But I think if we can increase even 1% the number of NASCAR fans who are collectors. Take 1% of the total number of NASCAR fans in the world and make them collectors, you just exponentially grow in the market. It's all about the awareness. It's about having products that they want to buy. It's about having drivers in the products that they want to collect, and it's about making sure that the cards look nice. There's good photography. There's good value when they buy a pack or a box, or they buy a single card on eBay, things like that. It's just making sure they're aware, making sure that everyone knows we're there, and everyone knows that we have these good products to buy. Now, for the sticker books, I do like that idea. I don't know if we have the sticker part of a license for NASCAR or not, because usually those are actually split between trading cards and sticker and albums and things like that. But I mean, if we have it, I think that actually would be a pretty good idea, especially as something that can be sold trackside, younger collectors. I'd also love to see, blaster and hobby boxes sold at some of the haulers and stuff like that. I know we've tried to get in there. It's a little more complicated because it's not as simple as like, hey, this is, this is a Ty Dillon, cup with his face on it or whatever. I know they don't have it with his face on it, but you know what I mean.
Right,
It's
exactly.
like, no, but there's, let's say it's, for example, Joe Gibbs Racing. Well, there's Hendrick guys in this box too. I don't want to sell a box that doesn't have all my guys in there. Can I have a special pack with just my guys in there? And it's like, well, if we do that for every race team, not saying Joe Gibbs asked for this, but like if we do it with every race team, it's like at that point we're making a bunch of promo packs that may or may not get sold, may or may not get opened, and we're having to kind of divide everything up. Whereas we want to just take these products that have this good stuff in them and sell them. It just kind of goes into the politics of the sales on the track side and things like that. But definitely something that we floated up the flagpole multiple times. We continue to do with our retail sales team and trying to make sure that we have a bigger presence on track side and kind of make sure that there is more awareness of our products, because I do think we make good stuff, and there are a lot of NASCAR fans and NASCAR collectors or fans that could become collectors, and we need to do more effort to try to make them collectors, because I think that they would definitely enjoy these products.
I think me and Logan would totally agree with you, and we're kind of flabbergasted at some of the, you know, what's the right word here? Trying to grow this market because for the life of me, I don't understand why the shops, the actual shops don't, why they don't purchase the Panini Instants when their
Mhm.
drivers win. Why they're not buying or selling wax, at the thing. I understand what you're talking about. And you almost need back, I guess, like the old press pass days. You need a box for the Joe Gibbs guys. You need a box for the Hendrick guys, and so they can sell those blasters. Now the cards in there would just be, be packs or whatever. So, but I
Mhm.
didn't know how engaged maybe your marketing department is, or if that's more towards you guys. Because we know there's tie-ins for movies, and back in the '90s, when we were collecting uh, with the gas companies with Texaco and um, that kind of things, doing cards and kind of
Mhm.
stuff. So I think to your point, there's so many opportunities, but it just seems like either politics and not necessarily from you guys, but with NASCAR and the different teams, because there is no players association or one over umbrella over everybody. So I know it makes your job harder, and I wasn't sure, if you guys were still trying to push for the haulers, or if you were thinking about maybe doing some different blaster boxes to try to get on those haulers, or
Yeah, it makes the job harder, but it definitely doesn't make it not worth doing. So we are definitely still pushing forward on trying to get more of a presence trackside, more of a presence with sales trackside and things like that. Like I said, there's politics involved and there's there's logistics and things like that, but we're going to keep trying on that.
so I know we have you and we're running along, but you can ask Logan where and when was the first time he ever learned about NASCAR trading cards, and he'll tell you.
1988, Bill Elliott's hauler. I walk up there to buy some Bill Elliott merchandise. I'm a big Bill Elliott fan.
Mm-hmm.
All of a sudden, on the counter, I see these boxes of what looks like trading cards. And I'm like, is this what I think it is? And sure enough, it was 1988 Max factory set. And they were selling them not just at his hauler, but they sold them at every hauler. And I'm like, how much are these? I got to have them. It was $25. And $25 in 88
Yeah,
was
a little more
was
than it
not.
is now.
So, but I ponied up the money because I had to have them. Little did I know at the time they were going to be the Myrtle Beach sets. But anyway, I was so excited. I could not believe it was like, oh, we have NASCAR cards now.
Yeah,
It was, and that's how I
little
learned about NASCAR trading cards was from Bill Elliott's hauler in 1988.
little known fact: when I was like 10 years old, I think somebody bought me a Bill Elliott model car for my birthday. And I was like, I don't know who this is, but I like McDonald's, so I kept it. I think I probably still have that somewhere around here, one of these boxes. But yeah, that's cool though. I mean, that's the thing. Like, awareness comes down to finding out, and either you find out yourself or you find out by somebody telling you. But trying to make sure these fans know that these cards are out there. They can get an autograph for their favorite driver, and it can be worth money, can be worth keeping, it can be worth trading, worth selling, whatever you want to do with it. And kind of getting them involved in the hobby and meeting new people. It's what this thing's all about.
Well, Val, tell him real quick, tell everybody real quick about when you went up to Mike Joy to get him to sign some autographed cards.
So I guess it was back in 2016. I was going to the NASCAR Hall of Fame and stuff like that, and trying to do my part to push to trying to get somebody to talk about NASCAR trading cards or learn about them. I think I had seen maybe something with Major League Baseball, and they showed some images of cards and stuff. So I was like, it'd be really cool for Mike Joy or somebody just to learn about it. So I talked to him about it, and maybe it was 2018. Anyway, he's like, "Oh, they used to make those," and I'm like, "No, they still make them."
Mm-hmm.
And so I said, "I'll give you a set." And so I ended up I think it was like Coke 600, and so I went to the Fox broadcast booth and left him a card set. And then in 2019, I don't know if that helped that or not, but 2019, you guys did a Fox and Sports announcers set. So again, trying to get other folks to learn about cards and try to do that because I was kind of chuckling when you said you were talking to people and they said they didn't know they made cards because I was at the Hall of Fame or in line to get autographs and they're like, what are those? And I'm like, they're cards and they make them. So I think to just real quick on another point where you're talking about going to the races, if they knew like, hey, if your driver wins, there's going to be a Panini Instant card. It's going to be
Mm-hmm.
on demand, and come and check the site on Wednesday or Thursday, and we'll be talking about those after we're done with interviewing you or whatever. That that's a great opportunity. So if how many fans they have out there that they can have a special card of the win. So
Yeah. And that makes perfect sense to me too. Like NASCAR has a mailing list, send out a blast. Hey, Connor Zilisch wins this race. Go get your Connor Zilisch instant card at PaniniAmerica.com or .net today, or next day, whatever it comes up. It definitely makes sense. It's just about making sure that, that awareness is out there and that we're able to get that communicated to folks.
now I don't know how with Gray Line or whatever there, if like Junior Motorsports with the Zillage, if they go and buy a few hundred, they
Mm-hmm.
sell them in the shop, or if they have Zillage autograph some more of them or whatever it is, if that's a violation of the terms or whatever. But like I said, for the life of me, I don't understand why they wouldn't want to highlight that. Hey, their driver won. They got a special card.
Yeah, I mean that makes perfect sense to me, and that would be a violation of anything. That would just be they're buying it for retail price, and they're doing what they want with it. But yeah, that would be something, and that's another thing too is we're trying to incorporate a few more personalities that aren't necessarily on track personalities, getting more team owners involved. Getting I think we've done autographs with Jack Roush. We've done it with Richard Childress. We actually got a bunch of those white shirts. Richard Childress actually provided some of those to us for a card, so there'll be some memorabilia of his uh, owner worn memorabilia and products moving forward. But like just
Oh, cool.
kind of getting more of the team owners involved, kind of getting more. They've done crew chief cards in the past, obviously, but getting more of the crew chiefs involved, things like that. The more notable ones, obviously, and kind of getting the adjacent to the driver folks also involved. Maybe that'll get more of the drivers involved. Maybe they'll be signing their autographs a little more frequently, and maybe kind of help raise that awareness a bit too.
Well, I got to say, you guys hit it out of the park with the Hendrick 40th anniversary sets.
Yeah, I will give Misha credit for that one. He said that'll do really well, and I said if it'll do well, let's do it.
So they're good looking cards.
The cards look really nice.
All right. So we've got a list of questions here, and I'm gonna skip down on our list. Um, Other Panini products have super short print kaboom card, excuse me, kaboom cards of their premier athletes, right? I mean, they're all over the place. I see the kabooms everywhere. Can we expect a kaboom style SSP card for NASCAR? We've heard rumblings of an insert called Kavroom. Can you talk to this and let us know more?
So I will tell you that there will be a Kaboom style card in 2025. for sure. Now, I don't want to call it Kaboom because I think of Kaboom, I think of driving, I think of Rex. I'm not sure. There are some race teams that will reject certain concepts for cards. There's one team I'll remain unnamed that the stained glass cards, they will reject any of their drivers being in a stained glass set because they think it's sacrilegious. So, I mean, I could easily see a scenario where all of a sudden, like if half the race teams don't want the guys in a Kaboom set, that would kind of throw things off. Kavroom is a name that we're kind of sorry, workshopping per se, but there will be a Kaboom style card in 2025. It pack pulled in a good in the new release for 2025.
That's going to be awesome. So you can't tell us what release?
Not yet, but I will say that there are a certain number of turns in a NASCAR track, and that'll be the number of cards in the product. So
yeah, we've heard about that product. Okay, that's awesune, dude. Good news.
Sure,
We're glad
not
to
sure
hear
how
it.
much Mr. Wines divulged on that, but
Not
it's all good.
no, not
He didn't.
no.
He didn't actually. He's been really keeping it close to the vest. He won't
Yeah,
tell
he
us.
won't.
So
We push him hard sometimes, and he won't budge. It's like, come on, man.
try to trick him, and nope, he won't go for it.
That's all good. I mean, it's I think that's something where it's kind of a more premium feel, not necessarily a super premium price, but more premium feel. A few fewer cards, few lower numbered cards to it. Might have a good ring with NASCAR collectors, so we're gonna give that one a try.
Yeah, because there's been a lot of chatter on social media about a Kaboom style card for NASCAR. So that's you heard it here, folks. So there you go.
Well, I have one more for you, and we kind of somewhat touched on it, but just kind of come back. I mean, um, like so, Tops F1 and Parkside, they've released special card sets attained only at specific races, and just curious if Panini has any, thoughts about doing something like this, or maybe just throwing out there, maybe the SMI, right? Maybe do the Charlotte and Texas and whatever, and maybe a special 5 card pack that everybody gets. Um, and then that would also allow folks to like, hey, there are cards and it's produced by Panini. I don't know if you guys had thought about maybe something like that. If you can't
Yeah,
do the haulers and other stuff,
for sure. Yeah, I
I
mean,
don't know.
I do like the idea of doing like a promo pack, trackside giveaway, things like that. Um, you know, we can always talk to marketing about that, see what the potential is for that. I personally like it because I know as a kid growing up, if I went to a Texas Rangers game, for example, and the giveaway is a Rusty Greer trading card, I'd be all excited about it. I get a Rusty Greer card, awesome. If I'm a NASCAR fan, I'm a kid, and I know that you're going to get a pack of cards with all your favorite drivers in it. Even if it's 3 to 5 cards or whatever, and just regular base cards, you can get younger fans kind of excited about that, and they'll be like, "Hey, mom, dad, where can I get more of these?" So after they go harass the guy handing out the packs to give them a few more packs, then they can go to their local Walmart or Target or hobby shop and get some cards. I like the idea for sure, and we've mentioned that before in the past. It's just about kind of the execution and the logistics and all that stuff. But I do like that idea, and I think we should definitely do something like that in the future.
So like F1, they produce their own set. I think it was for Miami and Texas and Vegas, and it was it was a special design set. But then Parkside, though, they produced something where they took their regular card and put a stamp on it, like I think it was first edition. And so
Mm-hmm.
that's the way to kind of designate it from one to the other. But I will say, and you can probably back me up, that if you did something like that, if you took Dunruss and put a special stamp on them, the NASCAR collectors would lose their lose their mind trying to acquire the ones from the different tracks.
Oh, definitely, because I mean, even in the grand scope of things, it still wouldn't be a massive run of cards if it's one per back giveaway. And honestly, from a Panini standpoint, it wouldn't be that difficult to just run the same 5 to 10 cards and just have different logos for different tracks and have those things kind of pre-planned. But it also goes back to having the lines of the packaging facility to actually pack out the packs, get them delivered in time, making sure there's no delays. Because the last thing we want to do is allocate time to this, and then all of a sudden, the power goes off in a plant in West Virginia or something. All of a sudden, we're going to be 2 days late for the races. It's like, well, crap, we got 100,000 packs sitting here with no home. But that's also I think we can make that work. I really do think we can make that work.
All right. I don't know how many more questions you want to take, but I've got one that's kind of a personal question for me. I'm a huge fan of the legendary drivers in NASCAR history. I love the old drivers, the David Pearsons, the Fireball Roberts, all these guys. I love them. Does Panini have any plans whatsoever to make a Legends or a NASCAR Hall of Fame product featuring the greats of NASCAR past?
As a standalone release, not currently. I will say that whenever there are, legendary drivers who we want to target for a program, I'm always on board. I even go back to NFL, NBA, MLB, or baseball cards, working on stuff like that. I'm always all about trying to find, especially those legends who not a lot of the modern collectors have really heard about. They don't have a lot of cards out there, and kind of give them, a bit of a platform to be like, hey, I'm still around. Here's my autograph. Here's my card. I remember on the basketball side, I was so baffled that a guy named Frank Selvey, he had not had a trading card since like 1968 or something like that. He was a number one pick in 1954 for the Capitol Bulls, not even the Washington Bullets. And he had a multi-time All-Star career, and he had never had a trading card after his career. And we were planning a program of just, it was an insert where it was all just number one overall picks. And there was one usable photograph of him from his rookie year from when he got drafted, and we were able to make that happen. And I remember we got a note from Mr. Selvey thanking us for the deal, and that kind of stuff kind of warms me up, because it's like you're giving these guys who have been kind of out of the main spotlight for a long time, giving them a bit of a spotlight, make a little bit of money off the autograph, and also we like to try to change our checklist up so you're not pulling the same guys year over year over year. So when it comes to those legends, definitely I want to try to incorporate more of them in there. Not overload it per se, because you don't want people to start looking at these Hall of Fame drivers and their $1 autographs, because you don't want to put thousands of out there at a time. But trying to incorporate more of the legends in there to kind of mix up the checklist and kind of give it more of a variety. I'm all for that. The one issue with that can be photography, obviously, when you start going to those like pre-1970 guys, and also cut SIGs have been difficult to come by. A lot of those legendary names did not have a lot of certified autographs in the market per se. But we're definitely looking for those. I'd like to try to expand, because we kind of had the same general names for our cut SIGs for National Treasures the last few years, and I kind of want to vary that up a little bit if we can.
Yeah, there's one card in particular I would love to see you guys make. It would be a Richard Petty card, and I've mentioned this to Misha as well. There's a Getty photograph of him, and it's back in the 70s, and it's actually a black and white photo. He's holding a apple pie, a baseball, and a hot dog, and it kind of goes back to that old Chevy commercial of baseball, hot dogs, apple pie, and Chevrolet. So instead, it's Richard Petty instead of Chevrolet. It's a really cool picture.
Yeah, and I love those unique photos too. It's like there's no better way to get people more invested in a card than if the card looks cool, just quite frankly. I know when we did Photogenic on the WWE side, we had a lot of that kind of stuff, and we got really positive response on that. And I wouldn't be shocked if in the future there is a Photogenic NASCAR release somewhere down in 2026 or beyond, because I think there's enough variety, and not all just the hands on the hips like you had mentioned earlier. There's enough variety out there, especially maybe not something we could do every year, because we don't want the photos to start becoming a little bit stale or overused, but something where eventually we could have every few year photogenic release that really targets those really unique photos like that.
Cool. So Val, do you have any more questions?
No, I think we've had Lucas on long enough. We really appreciate you coming on, spending this amount of time with us. We really do appreciate it, Lucas.
Hey, no problem at all. Happy to be on, and if y'all ever want me to hop back on, just to give me a shout, and we'll see if we can make the schedules work.
That's awesome. Yeah, we appreciate you, brother. We really do. And are you going to be at the National?
I will be at the National. Come on down to the Panini booth. I'll be there every day.
Unfortunately, Val can't make it. That actually makes me very sad, but
that's a whole nother story.
Yeah, it's a whole nother story. But I'll be there, so I'll see you there, man.
He'll see you every day.
Maybe we'll have a White Castle.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, y'all take care.
All right, thank you again.
Thanks,
Bye-bye.
man. Well, that was awesome.
Yeah, that was great.
We learned a lot of stuff there.
Yeah, he wasn't holding back. That was great.
No, he was straightforward with us. I like that.
Love it.
All right, so we've got news now, don't we, about Panini Instant and other things?
Yeah. Let me share a screen real quick. They kind of dropped late today, so I didn't get all the great. And let me add that to the screen. We got a lot today. Let me make that bigger. Not me. There we go. And can we do it? I don't know which one looks better. Okay. So we'll just go again. We are recording Wednesday. We'll drop this Thursday. So these will be live on Thursday. We're starting with number 26, Deshane Van Gisbergen. He's got 2 autos, the 101 and the 1 of 10 for 50 and 200. And then we have the non-auto, the base, the out of 5 for 30, and the 101 for 100. Then card 28. So something's going on with 27. So hopefully 27 will drop. Chase Briscoe, the autos there out of 10 at 101 is 250 for the out of 10 auto. And then we have the base and the out of 5, and the 101 is 130. Then on card number 29, we have Connor Zilisch, the 2 autos, 600 for the 101 auto and 200 for the out of 10 auto and the base. We also have the 101 here, which is 150 out of 560 and the base. Then we have, now I hope everybody's sitting down. We have the dual auto 101 and 1 of 10 of Zilisch and Earnhardt Jr. at 800 and 300 for the out of 10. We have the non-auto 101 for 200, 65 for the out of 5, and the base for $9.99. Again, you can get those those base lower in quantities.
Wow, that's amazing. That's a huge drop.
A massive drop, yes. So, and again, that 27, hopefully, maybe we'll drop tomorrow. We'll find out what that is. So I think it's like 2, 10, and 27 right now are the vacant numbers. But massive drop, and again, we'll probably release the show a little earlier tomorrow on Thursday. So.
Yeah, it's like feast or famine, man. It's like we don't have really much, and then it's all of a sudden, poof, and we've got all these cards.
Well, yeah, the Zilisch and the Earnhardt Jr. Again, I don't know why. I guess JR Motorsports doesn't pick some of those up, but anyway,
Maybe they will.
maybe they will. All right, so that's going on with that, and then do I have? All right, I think I was talking about Pronto, but Pronto, nothing's new. They're coming off tomorrow, Thursday, so the new set with Alex Palou should come on Thursday. And then we have the Upper Deck ePack information. Again, that was one of those things that kind of dropped.
Yeah, I didn't even see it till last night, and I tagged you on it.
Yes. So let's go back to here again and move that to here. Okay. It looks like Upper Deck ePack, who, if you remember last year, they had a ePack exclusive, but it was only, I guess, a virtual card last year. And then so this year, they're actually doing a Superman crossover. And I don't know how many weeks it's going on, but I think there's going to be more. I don't, a few, maybe a few weeks or whatever, I think. But so Superman is soaring into theaters everywhere on July 11th. And Upper Deck is excited to introduce DC to the world of racing with their new 2025 23XIX Superman cards available exclusively on ePack. And the Superman crossover feature authentic trading cards of elite driver Tyler Reddick, as well as 23XI's Upper Deck Superman movie race car. Packs will be available in the Upper Deck ePack store until June 27th at 6 a.m. Pacific time, and each one card pack will contain one base set card. So I wonder if that's it. Featuring the all new Superman race car. Keep an eye out for there's a special silver parallel at a 10 1 per 10 packs, a gold parallel 1 to 25 packs that will fall to a bonus second card in select packs, and they'll be available to ship home. So they're going to become live cards that you can have shipped home from ePack or to ComC approximately 8 to 12 weeks after the card is released. And so this is what the base card looks like, and then we have the silver and gold parallels there.
So to me, it's kind of vague. Is this the only card, or are they going to have cards with actually featuring Tyler Reddick?
Yeah, well, so it's one base set, contain one base set card. So I don't. That's kind of like you said, vague because I mean just one base set card, but it could be multiple. So we'll have to dig for more information. But that's all that's really here. Yeah, so that was kind of it. So we just wanted to let folks know we're recording on the 26th. And when did we say this dies?
We're recording on the 25th, the
I'm
27th.
Yeah, I'm right because I tore off Wednesday. Right, so we're dropping this on the 26th, and this is so basically you have Thursday and Thursday night into Friday morning. Okay.
So yeah, I don't know if it's just a car. I would like to think they would do more activation on this and at least have a card of Tyler Reddick to pair with it. But I don't know.
Exactly. I don't know about the licensing. And remind me how much they are a piece. The
I think
packs.
they were either $5.99 or $6.49. I think
Okay.
a piece. I can't remember. I bought 4 packs last night, thinking there were multiple cards in there, and there wasn't. There was only the car card.
Okay. So, wanted to let everyone know, but it can be turned into a physical card. So, it's got to take a few 2 months, 3 months before that becomes available to get. So, but wanted to let everybody know.
Well, it's good to see that. We knew that 23XI had a deal with Upper Deck because of Michael Jordan. So I'm glad to see they're trying to do something with it.
Yeah, I think they're trying to lay out on the fringes there that what they
Yeah.
can do. With Panini getting the other stuff. So I think that's it. And again, we're kind of late, so
Yeah, we're an hour, 7 minutes, and 30 something seconds into this already. So I think it's time to roll the beautiful bean footage.
I think you're right. Here we go.
All right. Ready for King's Court finally this week. So let's get going with our honorable mention number 1. This is on the 18th of June. It's a 2023 Donruss number 40 Dale Earnhardt Jr. Optic Signatures Black Finite, 1 of 1. They were asking $450 for this card, and they settled on a best offer of $415 for this 1 of 1 Junior.
Wow.
Junior. But that's a cool card, man. I like those Black Finites.
That blue stands out. It's a good looking card.
It is a good looking card, and it is Junior, so there's going to be a lot of fanfare behind that one.
Yes, sir. There's no sticker on top of the sticker, but that's good.
I noticed that, and I'm glad. Yes, I'm like you. It's like do a little bit of applause for that.
Right.
There we go. I clicked on it and it didn't do anything. Now then it finally decided to do something. Okay, great. All right, so next up, honorable mention number 2. This is on the 19th of June, 2024 Panini National Treasures Racing Cut Signatures. Benny Parsons, Benny and the Jets, or Benny and the Pits. But anyway, this card went out for bidding, and it went for a whopping $405 with 16 bids.
Yeah, coming off that litho.
Yeah, that's off the litho. That's been a good source of cut autographs for Panini
for years.
Yeah, luckily I have a litho, so I don't have to worry about it. I have all those signatures on a litho, But it's still a cool card. I would love to have it. I would love to have pulled it. Um,
Oh, I know
but
you would have.
oh yeah, because I love Benny. He was a great driver. He was a '73 champ, and he was a just as great announcer on ESPN and all the other networks he was on. So really cool. Whoever got it, man, I'm proud for you because and I'm actually kind of jealous.
I know you love those.
I do. I love those cut autos, man. All
All right.
right. Next, our Joker of the Week. This was also on the 19th of June. 2025 Parkside IndyCar Collection, Volume 1. Hunter McElra, or Elray, I'm not exactly sure how you pronounce his name. Driver sketch auto out of 10. So he did 10 sketches, apparently. They were asking $349.99 for this card, and it went for $275 best offer.
That is awesome. I mean, you have that in your collection and be like, did your kid draw that? So, no. The
You know,
driver.
maybe he did let his kid draw that.
You know
You
what?
never know.
Maybe. Maybe. But hopefully he drives better than he draws. So,
Yeah, and he's only got his left hand there.
yeah.
But I just thought that was hilarious when I saw it, and he's got looks like he kind of initialed it there at the bottom. So I like that. That's really cool. And there's
That's awesome.
10. He did 10 sketches, so there's
Yeah.
more to be had.
Love those sketches that are in there.
I do too, man. Those are so funny.
Yeah.
All right, next we have our Jack of the Week. This is on the 20th of June, 2024, Panini Prism Racing, William Sawalich, Color Blast, Case Hit, SSP Rookie. For whatever reason, it doesn't have the price on there. But they had $120 on it, or best offer. Guess what? Raise the hand. Dun, 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 dun,
Click.
dun, dun, dun. Click. Somebody bought that card for $120
Wow.
for Sawalich. And I don't see many of those either.
Yeah. You don't really see it in those the color blast that much.
No, I mean the Cub Blast you have to admit, I think they've made them very tough.
Well, I think folks buy them. I mean, not buy them. They get them. They either sell them and then they go into collections and they're not actively being resold.
Yeah, they're not popping out. So, but a cool card. I think he
Very
must have
cool.
eaten some Skittle flavored beans, and you can see what the result was.
Yep.
All right, next it's going to be our Queen of the Week. This is on the 24th of June. Haley Deegan, 1 of 1, Panini Prime 2023 Jumbo Patch Car Manufacturer, Toyota. That's when she was still with Toyota, which she should have stayed there. But they were asking $340 for this one. Dun 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 dun. Click.
Click.
Somebody bought it for $340.
Nice.
Yeah, that's a cool. I like the logo. I'm a Toyota fan. All the vehicles I own are Toyotas.
It's embroidered.
It's embroidered. It's not that silk screen crap. So, yeah, because they've really cheapened out on the suits with the silk screen. But anyway, a great card. Haley's market is very much alive.
It's very collectible still.
Oh yeah. All right. So next we have our King of the Week. This is on the 25th of June. And gee, we never see these. 1988 Dale Earnhardt Mags, number 99 Medallion, 1994 Redemption, number 36 of 9. Nope, number 36 of 1000. PSA 8. And they were asking $990.95 for this card. And they took a best offer of $650 for a PSA 8.
Wow, nice.
Yeah. So, that begs the question, what's a PSA 10? So
Well, we talked about it before. It's a Grail card. This is only from the '94 medallion.
mm-hmm.
Case hits had to be redeemed. So it's
Yep.
missing the letter, but
It's got the certificate anyway.
yeah. But folks might not remember about the Well, if you listen to the show, you know about the letter. So
Yep.
that's
Bonus
what.
autograph.
Yep. Yeah, that's a live auto on that thing. But yes, sweet card.
Yeah, I love those cards. Um, I'll be looking for some of those at the National. Hopefully, maybe I can find one at a good price. We'll see. But yeah, congrats to whoever bought it. Congrats to the seller. It's a great card. You can't go wrong with it.
Mm-mm.
All right. Next, it's our ace of the week, our one of one. This is on the 18th of June. Sports Kings Mario Andretti Indy 500 Auto Race Used Fire Suit USAC Grand Patch 1 of 1.
Wow.
That's that's old school right there. That's when the IndyCar was still sanctioned under USAC. So that's an older fire suit where that came from.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's a super cool patch, man. It really is. It's beautiful, and they did a great job with it. Sport Kings did a great job.
Yeah. I mean, that checkered flag on the left hand side, right hand side, that's all embroidered in.
Yeah, that's
That
super.
is probably one of the greatest patches I've seen. That is so awesome.
But they were asking $599.95 for it, and it ended up going for $500.
Yeah, that was a sweet patch, and of course it's of Andretti. I mean, wow. I
Yeah,
mean, it's Sports Kings, but wow.
yeah. No, the Sport Kings, they do a good job with their grand patches, that they do for the various athletes, and this one's just exceptional to me. I think it's stunning.
Totally agree. I don't know how you can make that any better. It's really nice.
I don't think so either. All
Beautiful.
right. So, lastly, we've got our Royal Flush of the Week. This is on the 24th of June. 2024 National Treasures Noah Gregson Quad Race Worn Patch Auto 1 of 1. Let's freaking go. LFG. But this one went out for bidding, believe it or not. And it ended at $1,225 with 53 bids.
Coastal Sports Cars, I know them.
Yeah.
They're in
But
Myrtle Beach.
yeah, there's a lot of activity on this. People love the inscriptions.
Yes, they do, and this one does not disappoint. Noah Graskin is a character anyway, so
Oh yeah, he's definitely a character, and this is not the first inscribed card we've seen from him. We had one back on that was back on the 4th of June, and that was the 2024 National Treasures 1 of 1 that had "Let's Freaking Go" on it. So, and I think that one went for like only $200. So look at this, man.
yeah.
Yeah, the king is right. But yeah, great card. I'd love to see more of this in NASCAR. I'd love to see. I'd love to encourage drivers to do this and do inscriptions. I mean, I don't care. Say I love spaghetti. I mean, who cares? Just put something on there.
Yeah, see, the problem is, they got to be signed in person and not do the stickers. So,
Yeah. Well, that only leaves one issue for us, which is National Treasures.
right, unless they have signings or something like that where they can get um, to the drivers, or whatever, and get the cards. But yeah, I think the descriptions that just kind of lets the driver's character and personality come out. So,
Yeah, no
love
doubt.
it.
So that's it for King's Court. But I do have one observation, and you may know what that is with King's Court this week. There's no "We Love Gold."
Yes, I did notice that.
There you go. No gold cards this week. That's rare for us.
Right.
So hashtag "We Love Gold." We got to put that in there.
Yep.
All right, that's it. That's all I got, man. We're almost an hour 20 into this bad boy.
That's actually not too bad.
It's better than I thought it would be.
Yeah, actually, me too. So, all right. Anything? Give me some hashtags before we get out of here. So again, especially want to thank Lucas for joining us Really appreciate him coming on the show and answering the questions, everything we kind of threw at him. So
Yeah. Shout out to Lucas. He was a good sport. Some of the questions we had were probably not the nicest questions, but he answered them, and he did a great job. I appreciate him being on. So hashtags real quick. Hashtag it's so shiny. That's one of them. And of course, we've got the hashtag we love gold. Man, that is good timing. There you go. Hashtag Ty Freaking Gibbs and hashtag PSA 10.
okay.
And that's it, man. Let's close this bad boy out.
All right. Well, for me, Logan, everybody appreciate everybody watching the show. If you like the show, give us a thumbs up. If you really like the show, subscribe. We'll give you a shout out. Leave comments on the show. We'd love to know if there was questions we missed or more discussion on some of the answers that Lucas had given. And anything else I'm missing?
No, man. Let's let people go home now.
All right, so we have races on Friday, doubleheader on Saturday, and I don't remember when I said the IndyCar was, but I think it's not till July. So everybody have a safe race weekend, and we will see you next week. We are out of here. Bye.